Hello, friends, and welcome back to day 37 of our Jewel Cichlid Fry journey. Every single day has been fascinating, and day 37 feels like a real turning point. Yesterday, we talked about their growing independence, the subtle flashes of color starting to shine, and how the parents are beginning to step back. Today, we'll take a closer look at how independence is shaping their behavior, whether they are truly ready to stand on their own, and what that means for us as fish keepers. So, do you think fry this young can thrive without much parental protection, or do they still need their parents around? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's begin today by taking a look at the size of the fry. Now, the fry are noticeably larger than last week and they are filling out into that classic jewel cichlid shape. So, fins are longer and sharper, and this is giving them speed and control. At the same time, we see that the body outline is kind of not longer, but you can call them as round fry. They're looking more like that streamlined young fish. And there's also a kind of a slight shimmer that is seen in some of the fries. You can see some red, green, and blue sparkles. Now, it's just like teenagers hitting that stage where their features start to resemble adults. You can clearly see these fish as their parents were. So they are getting that shape, getting the color of their parents, and that is indeed quite fascinating to watch. So, if you have had fry in your aquarium, at what age did your fry start to look like mini adults? Was it earlier than day 37 or much later? Do let us know that in the comments as well. Now let's talk about something more interesting, color and personality. Now we see that some fry show stronger colors than others, and one can link this to either dominance or gender differences. So, males tend to look a bit more colorful, they tend to have these bright colors, and sometimes you also see that the fry which are brave, which are dominant, which are ready to take risks, these are the fry that also would have these bright colors. The reason for that is very simple. These fry are the ones who would go and grab the food first. They are ready to take that risk, ready to explore. As a result, they are the ones who also get the best part of the food. Now, for the shy ones, they depend on what is left over. And as a result, sometimes there's very little remaining. Hence, we see that color and also health is very much linked to their personalities. So, the brave ones would do better rather than the shy ones. Now, let's talk about their color. Now, we see that this kind of a shimmer that they have is also used by them as a flashing behavior. So they use it during play or especially when they are having these mock battles or mock disputes. They would basically try to kind of show their colors in a way to just persuade the other or even sometimes drive them away. Now, this is very important because in the wild, these strategies help them to survive, help them to evade predators, and also sometimes helps them to find mates. But we see that there's personalities are emerging in the aquarium. So you can see a clear distinction between the bold fry and the cautious ones. So the bold ones are the ones who will be the first to go for food. They'll be the first to start exploring the corners of the tank, and also the first ones to in a way come towards you when you put your hand in the aquarium for cleaning the debris and for other reasons. On the other hand, you'll see the cautious ones are the ones who are still timid, and they will try to be more close to the parents. Now, what does this personality behavior have to do with their growth and color? So the bold fry are not afraid to go immediately once food is put. As a result, they'll get the best part of the food, and sometimes also the more quantity of food. Whereas the cautious ones who are waiting for the commotion or the feeding frenzy to settle down, they'll only get whatever is left over. And as a result, we see that the bold ones grow bigger and also have bright colors. So if you look closely, you'll see that there are some fry which are almost twice the size of the smaller ones. And that's because of the personality differences. In the wild, we see that jewel cichlids use color displays to attract mates and also to defend territories. What we are seeing now is the baby version of that, like kids learning how to raise their voices for the first time. Now, have you ever noticed color differences in your fry? And do you think that it predicts who will be dominant later on? Well, it would be interesting to listen to your opinions and to your thoughts. So, do let us know that also in the comments as well. Let's now move on to behavioral shifts and independence. At the moment, especially today, what we are noticing is there's less of shoaling, and there's also more exploring as individuals. Now, I don't say that they are not shoaling, but they are. But here and there, whenever they want to explore, they will not hesitate to, in a way, explore the tank on their own. And that is something unique about day 37, where they're trying to, in a way, search for that freedom. So also you'll find gentle territorial spats. Now, what do I mean by these territorial fights? It's not that they're going to kill each other, but these are short dashes or nudges or space claiming. They'll try to push the other here and there. So these are also in a way a preparation of what is to come in the future. And we will see that the fry will still retreat to a group safety if they are startled or if there is some kind of danger. So though they are independent, they don't leave the group, and that's again something very fascinating to watch. Now we also see that parents will step in. Now we'll also see that parents will step in occasionally only when there is some kind of danger. They are more like supervisors than protectors. So, do you think that the parents will step back completely in the next week, or will they still continue to be like those supervisors? So, drop in your guesses in the comments below. Now, what about tanke? So, we see that fry eat with precision and speed, and as a result, they compete for prime food spots. So therefore, the best idea is to, in a way, put small quantities of food in different parts of the tank so that even the smaller fry can get their share. Now, the best foods now that you can put are micro pellets or powdered pellets, baby brine shrimp, daphnia, crushed flakes, or also some other natural foods. They say also that kind of the egg yolk mixed with water is also very good. So that also could be another food source for them. Apart from food, water quality is absolutely important. So yesterday we did a water change, and you can already see the difference. Why? Because water change is important since the extra waste, okay, is accumulating. When you have two fish, you have less waste. Now you have so many fry also producing waste. Plus, you also have some leftover of the food that would sink to the bottom, get mixed with the other debris, that also in a way turns into waste. So all that means frequent monitoring. You need to frequently change the water. So therefore we see that feeding time is almost like a mini frenzy in the aquarium. It almost looks like a school cafeteria. Students rushing to get the food first. So what can we see in the upcoming days? So most likely you may have some brighter coloration among the fry. Also probably clear hierarchies will be visible between the leaders and the shy ones, and maybe a possible separation into grow out tanks if the growth differences widen. So tomorrow we'll look at whether their independence continues to grow, and I'll share some tips on how to decide when it's time to move fry into separate tanks for the best growth. So, day 37 has been all about independence, that is, Fry exploring freely, parents stepping back, and the first real glimpses of their future beauty. If you have enjoyed today's update, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss day 38. Thanks for being part of this journey, and until tomorrow, happy fish keeping.